Adding and subtracting integers. This is a very, very important section, and a section that we will refer back to quite often when we were dealing with problems further in the future. To introduce adding and subtracting integers, this is a picture I took from the Colosseum, and it was a really, really cool place. I had no idea how large it was actually going to be, so it was really quite neat to be there. We have two rules for adding integers. Rule number 1, if you have the same sign, find the sum and keep the sign. So that means if both numbers are positive or both numbers are negative, add them together and keep whatever sign was originally there. So let's look at this example. 6 plus 8. Well, 6 plus 8, those are the same signed numbers. 6 and 8 are both positive. So I'm just going to add the two together and keep that positive sign. So 6 plus 8 is going to leave me with 14. A very similar thing will happen with negative 4 plus negative 11. Both numbers are negative in this case, so I'm going to add them together and keep that negative sign. So 4 plus 11 is 15. And since both numbers are negative, my answer is negative. That's rule number 1. Same sign, sum, and keep the sign. For the second rule, you're going to go by different signs, difference, and keep the sign of the stronger number. And for the stronger number, I mean the number with the larger absolute value. So if you ignore the sign, which number's bigger? So different signs, difference. We're going to find the difference between the two, or we're going to subtract the two numbers. So 6 plus negative 8. I've got different signs. One's a positive 6 and one's a negative 8. So since I have different signs, I'm going to find the difference. 6 minus 8, well, that leaves me with 2. Now if I ignore the signs, if I think of this as just a 6, and if I think of this as just an 8, looking at which one's bigger, well, 8 is bigger than 6, and since 8 is negative, your answer will be negative. So 6 plus negative 8 leaves us with negative 2. Let's try another one like that. Negative 4 plus 11. I've got different signs. I've got a negative 4 and a positive 11. So since they've got different signs, I'm going to find the difference or subtract. 11 minus 4 will leave me with 7. Ignoring the signs, 11 is bigger than 4. And since 11 is positive, our answer will be positive as well. Some people, the same sign sum and the different signs difference doesn't work very well for them. So another way to think of adding integers is to think of money. Anytime you have a negative number, that's like money that you owe. Anytime you have a positive number, that's like money that you have in your pocket. So negative 20 plus negative 5. You owe $20 to Dr. Gilbreth, and you owe $5 to me. So with the way that money works, if you owe two people money, you're going to owe more money than what you started with. So if you owe $20 to me and you owe $5 to, if you owe $20 to Dr. Gilbreth and you owe $5 to me, altogether you're going to owe, so it's negative, $25. Looking at the next one. Here, this is a positive 6, so that means you have $6 in your pocket. But you owe me $19. So let's think about how this would play out. You have $6 in your pocket, and you owe me $19. So you're going to give me the $6 in your pocket, but we won't be settled up in our debt yet. You're still going to owe me more money. Since you owe, it'll be negative. You've already given me 6 of the dollars that you owe me, so you don't owe as much as you did before, so I can subtract those. 19 minus 6, you are still going to owe me $13. Try these 3 problems on your own. Pause your video. Make sure that you get the correct answer. Did you get -3, -3, 10? If you did, give yourself a giant capital yes with 2 exclamation points. If you didn't, give yourself an X for now. Go back to the original problems and look through them. If you were using the same sign sum or different sign difference method, try thinking of money. If you were thinking of money, try and think of the other pattern. See which helps you out best. And then circle the X once you understand where you were making your mistakes. Subtracting integers is going to be almost identical to adding them. All we're going to do is turn them into addition problems by adding the opposite. When subtracting an integer, turn it into an addition problem by adding the opposite. So for our first example here, 18 minus -10. The only reason these parentheses are here is to separate this minus and negative piece. It just makes it a little easier. If you have sloppy handwriting like me, they don't run together as easily because of that parentheses there. It doesn't mean you have to do the -10 first. It's just separating those. So 18 minus -10. I'm going to add the opposite in order to make this an addition problem. An easier way to think of it is LCO, or leave, change, opposite. That just means I'm going to leave the first number the way it is, so that'll stay -18. I'm going to change from a subtraction problem into an addition problem, and then I'm going to make this last term its opposite. So instead of -10, it's going to become +10. Now I just have an addition problem. -18 plus 10. I have different signs, so I'm going to subtract. 18 minus 10 is 8. When I ignore the sign, 18 is bigger than 10, so my answer will be -8. If you're thinking about this in terms of money, I owe $18 and I have 10, but after I give my $10 up, I'm still going to owe 8. Let's try one more. -12 minus 23. Again, I'm going to think about LCO, or leave, change, opposite. Leave -12 the way it is. Change from change from a subtraction problem to an addition problem. Then make the last number its opposite. So instead of -12 minus 23, it's going to be -12 plus -23. I've got the same sign, so I'm going to add them together. Same sign sum. 23 and 12 is going to give me 35. Since both signs are the same, it's negative. If you're thinking of money, you owe $12, you owe $23. Altogether, you owe $35. Try these 3 problems on your own. Make sure you pause the video at this time. If you got the correct answers of 7, -5, and 4 on the first try, give yourself a smiley face with a big mustache. Hopefully you're better at your mustache drawing skills than I am. If you did not get them correct, give yourself an X. Go back and figure it out. Once you do figure out where your mistakes are, circle your X. Here are your 6 problems to try for homework. Again, just like in the previous problems, the parentheses only mean to separate that negative from the center symbol. So it doesn't mean to use those first, to do -7 or -3 or -5 or -8 first. It just is separating that negative symbol around those numbers from the center symbol.